most important factor in building a brilliant culture that drives your success. Recruiting is hard though, and if you've ever lost a candidate at the final hurdle, you know how painful it can be. But most biotech companies make life more difficult for themselves than they should because of how they handle making job offers. It's seen as a routine, straightforward administrative task, but in reality, getting the offer right and delivering it effectively are crucial parts of the hiring process, and poor execution can derail your efforts at the last hurdle, leaving you to start all over again. So you can avoid that. Here's how you should do it right. The first step in making effective offers is ensuring that you're really clear on what's important to each candidate. In biotech, the two most common drivers of job moves are career progression and learning opportunities. And so how you construct your package might well be less important than whether the candidate you're trying to hire feels that the role you're offering is a step up for them or not. But every person is different and has different motivations. So for some, salary or title are critical indicators of how they're valued, while for others, flexibility and working on important projects with good people are far more influential factors. Getting to know each candidate properly through the hiring process will allow you to make an appealing offer that's tailored to the individual that you want to bring in. For a candidate, moving jobs isn't just one decision, it's three huge, life-changing calls. First, they need to decide that if the right opportunity comes up, they're ready to leave their current role, to step away from the people they've worked with for the majority of their time over usually several years, and from projects that they've invested their energy and passion into. Then they need to decide whether your company is the right fit and whether the job that you have available is the right next step for them. And that can be difficult enough in itself, given the relatively limited amount of time available to gather information and make an assessment during a typical hiring process. But it's only after those first two decisions have been made, to leave their role and to take on yours, that a candidate can reliably decide whether the terms and conditions of your offer are acceptable to them. But normally employers rush to an offer without making sure that their chosen candidates have had time to properly navigate the first two decisions that they must make. And when those offers are rejected, it's often not because of the package, it's because the candidate hasn't mentally prepared themselves to leave their current employer, or perhaps because they just aren't sure yet that the new opportunity is the right fit. Now, they might blame the details of the package, but the real reason usually lies in one of these two factors. So be patient and help your candidates work through each step of the decision-making process in order. Answer their questions, provide the information they request, let them meet the team. It'll all help you get them over the line, because if you try to get them there too quickly, then they'll pull out. All of this isn't to say, by the way, that the details of the offer don't matter, because they absolutely do. When you come to the point of making an offer, make it as strong as you can. Now, that doesn't mean you should overpay, but if you can exceed a candidate's expectations financially without breaking your budget, then it'll demonstrate both your belief in them and your excitement about bringing them on board, both of which are much more important than the money itself. Companies often quibble over sums that are, in reality, quite small, because the annualised nature of salaries makes them appear much larger. A difference of £5,000 in an annual salary, for example, turns out to be just £2.60 an hour, which is surely worth the cost for an exceptional candidate. Now, of course, there will be occasions when it's difficult to make the numbers work. And if that's where you find yourself, try to be very solution-focused in your negotiations. Coming from a position of, we want to hire you and you want to work here, so let's see how we can make that happen, is typically much more productive than the stance that many companies take, which is, well, you should want to work here and you should be flexible if that's the case. Now look, sometimes you won't be able to come to an agreement. But you'll be much more likely to find a way to compromise if both parties are invested in doing so. Now, they say that in hospitality, the vast majority of mistakes happen in the last inch, the moment that the plate is about to leave the waiter's hand for the customer's table. The reason that's true is that in that last inch, it's easy to assume that the job's done and to mentally move on. But the last inch is where the real danger is. You should always pay attention to it.